So what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Another video means another dopamine high, because the buy something, feel something, and today we're back at it with another review. And for today's review, we are taking a look at Jazwares' Deluxe Halo 4 Master Chief. This is part of the World of Halo line, but they don't really specify that on the website, but it is in the World of Halo scale. And this was a part of the Jazwares Vault event, meaning that after Wave 8 was released for the Spartan collection and we were just sat here waiting for Jazwares to make another move, they announced the Vault, and this is what we got alongside with the Big Shot pack, which I genuinely just don't have any interest in picking up. But here we are with this figure. And if I'm being completely honest, I originally was not going to purchase this figure, but then I saw it was $20 and I had to figure out why. So I obviously ended up purchasing the figure, and that question will be answered in today's video. But at any point during or after the video you do realize you want to pick up this figure for yourself, there will be a link in the description of the video to the Jazwares Vault. And of course, this figure is $20. So if you're willing to shell out that kind of money for a singular World of Halo figure, by all means. But with all that being said, let's open up this bad boy. So starting off with the packaging, and when you get this, you'll first start off with this very bland and repetitive box that doesn't really have much going on. But when you open it up, you get to the real packaging. That's a lot more exciting. There's a bunch of color. There's a limited edition Jazwares Vault sticker that's all shiny and gold, very pretty. But here we have a nice close-up of Halo 4 Chief. On this side, there isn't really much. On the back, we get a full photo of Halo 4 Chief, and in the bottom, we get a brief description of everything that is included with this figure. And then on the side, we get another photo of Chief. And like NECA's packaging, you can actually open up the box. You can get, a little photo of Chief on the side, and then the figure and everything included in the shell / packaging. Looks like everything is there. So let's open up this bad boy. So starting off with the articulation in the head region, you can rotate the head 360 degrees, which is always nice to see, and then you can have him look up and down a decent amount as well. Unfortunately though, you can't really have him tilt his head side to side, which means you can't really allow for that spherical range of motion. So at the end of the day, there is some range. You can have him look around a bit, but not nearly as much as I'd like him to personally. And then we have the arm articulation, which you can rotate the arms up and over 360 degrees, and then you can spin them at the shoulders 360 degrees as well, which is nice to see on this figure. And when it comes to bringing up the arm, you can get some really good range, which means you can open up his arm a really good amount as well. So very happy to see that there. Unfortunately, with the elbow articulation though, you can't really go past the 90-degree mark, and if you know me, I like it when the elbow can do that, so that's just a little nitpick of mine. But that is the elbow articulation for you on this figure. But you can rotate the elbow and forearm 360 degrees as well, and then moving down from that, you can rotate the hand 360 degrees and bend the wrist however you please. And unfortunately, in true Jazwares fashion, the torso articulation is very non-existent. It's very stiff. There is some movement, but it doesn't really stick. The torso is about as stiff as me when I see Halo 4 Cortana. And then finally, for the leg articulation, you can rotate the legs 360 degrees up and over, which is awesome to see. And then you can get a near complete split, about 99% of one, which is really awesome to see as well. And then you can bring the legs all the way up, so if you want them to sit in a chair or something like that, you can do that. And then around the thigh area, you can rotate the legs 360 degrees independently from the joint that connects the thigh to the waist, which is really cool to see. And then moving down from that, we can get this phenomenal knee bend. You can pretty much have him do a complete butt kick, and the knee bend doesn't look gross. It just feels authentic. And then moving down from that, when it comes to the boots, you can rotate them 360 degrees and bend the ankle however you please. And overall, I am very happy with the leg articulation on this figure. And honestly, it's kind of a mixed bag how I feel about the articulation on this figure. Yeah, I'm bummed out that the torso isn't really have any range, but us Halo fans are kind of used to that when it comes to Jazwares. And then the elbow, not being able to surpass the 90-degree mark, I'd say up until Wave 8 we've been used to that. And I'm kind of bummed out you can't really have him tilt his head to side, because if he was able to do that, I'd say his articulation is on par with Wave 7 of the Spartan collection, which isn't a bad thing to be compared to. The articulation for that wave is pretty solid. Just the elbow articulation, I think, was the big killer for me in that wave, because like I said, at that point I was already used to the shitty torso articulation that they've been giving us. But yeah, overall there's some things I do like, some things I don't like about this figure, but for a figure of this scale, it's not the worst articulation I've ever seen, being brutally honest. So with this release, we do get to see the return of the little stands that were included with the World of Halo figures. They stopped doing this with Series 6, with the exception being the Skirmisher figure, because there was no way that figure was going to be able to stand up by itself. And for those wondering, no, the Big Shot pack does not come with any stands, despite those figures, when they were individually released, were advertised with stands. And for those who are curious, this isn't some, new different version. It's the same scale and size as the previous stands we did see. You can put older figures on this stand, and you can put the new Deluxe Chief on older stands, for, again, anyone who was curious. And then for the weapon included, we do get a light rifle. Now, when it comes to the visual presentation of this weapon, the sculpt work is great. They got down all the line work and little details that you would see on the light rifle. For the paint job, there is color variation between the two grays. There's the lighter gray on the outside, and then the inner parts are this darker gray. But I feel like there is just one thing missing, and that is the Promethean orange that we see on most Promethean weapons. Now, I understand that the Spartan collection is able to get down those oranges because it's a larger canvas, whereas here it's a smaller one. But even if they would just put some orange on the scope of the light rifle, it would have just been appreciated. But after that, I think that, again, the visual presentation sculpt-wise is fine. I like the minor color variation between the two grays. It just needs that orange. And one thing I came across is that this back piece does come off, and I don't know why. It's only the right one. The left back piece does not come off. It doesn't feel like it's gonna come off, but it's there. I don't know if this is for the light rifle to stay on his back easier. I don't know why you would have to take off his armor to put a weapon on his back, but even if that was the purpose of this, you can still put the light rifle on his back with both back pieces on. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if this was just an accident or whatever, but I figured I would throw that in. So when it comes to the visual presentation of this figure, one thing that should be made very clear is that Jazwares went above and beyond in making sure that the standard for the paint work and sculpt work was a little better than what we're used to seeing on the World of Halo, because this is a limited release deluxe figure. So when you have Halo 4 Chief next to Halo 5 Chief, you're clearly going to see an improvement in visual quality, at least when it comes to the sculpt and paint work. And a conversation piece I kind of want to throw in is, do you think that Jazwares increasing the quality of visual presentation for this figure justifies the $20 price mark? Now, disclaimer, I understand there's other factors at play, but this is just one of them. So going back to what I was saying, do you think that them increasing the quality of this figure justifies the upcharge? Because if we look at the Spartan collection with waves 7 and 8, Jazwares increased the quality of those figures but didn't upcharge the price. And I think it's a company's job to constantly listen to customer feedback and improve upon their products, setting new standards with each release. And don't get me wrong, if Jazwares were to just rebuild and overhaul the figures from the ground up on, every level of, visual presentation, articulation, accessories, and all that jazz, then, that's different. But I'm talking about, the current product that they have right now. So let me know what y'all think in the comments section below. Again, I understand there's other factors at play that add up to the $20 price mark, but I figured I'd just throw this in just to get those brain juices flowing for y'all. So now actually talking about the visual presentation of this figure, I think they did a great job with the sculpt work. The undersuit looks great. The line work and layering and all the tiny details that you want to see on the armor are there. I couldn't be more happier with the sculpt work on this figure. As for the paint job though, I think they made a very weird decision with the hue of green they chose for his armor. It's not that good looking. It's like this weird avocado green, and when you put this figure next to the Spartan Collection Halo 4 Master Chief, it is way too bright. The green that we see on Chief in Halo 4 is way darker. I don't know if they just didn't want to give him the same hue as Halo 5 Chief, but honestly, I think they should have. It would have made this figure look really, really good, and it just kind of makes the dark greens pop out, but not in a good way. But after that, you know, this figure does look good despite the choice of green they chose for his armor. And besides that one factor, this is probably one of the best looking World of Halo figures that we've ever gotten. So with everything being said and done, let's put this bad boy into scale with some size comparisons. Starting off with the Spartan Collection Halo 4 Master Chief. Then we have the World of Halo 3 ODST Rookie. The World of Halo Infinite Elite Miner, World of Halo Infinite Jackal Sniper, the World of Halo Infinite Grunt Miner. Then we have McFarlane's Halo 4 Master Chief. And moving on to some other brands, starting off with NECA's Aliens Xenomorph Warrior, NECA's Predator 2 Elder Predator aka Greyback, Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series Phase 2 Clone Trooper, McFarlane's The Doomslayer, and finally we have Joy Toys Blood Angel Space Marine. And here we are at Thoughts and Discussions, aka the turntable segment of the video, pretty much where I go over what I like, dislike, pros, cons, strengths, weaknesses, stuff like that. Just give my general thoughts, opinions on the product, and you know, get a conversation started. And hopefully that will have some of y'all go down in the comment section below and create further conversation. And I will most likely reply to y'all's comments because I love talking about this stuff clearly. Now, before I get into actually putting the turntable on screen and I talk about the good and bad about this figure, one thing I want to ask y'all is, how do we feel about this figure being considered a deluxe, and how are we feeling about that $20 price tag? Now, me personally, I'm a-okay with this being a deluxe figure. I understand why it is. It's an extremely limited release that's exclusive only to the Jazwares Vault, so that's the only place you're going to be able to pick up this figure unless you go to eBay and you feel like paying that, you know, third-party price. And also, they did put in the extra time and effort in making this figure look really, really good. And that's despite how I feel with companies that should always try and aim to improve their product with each series, wave, or release. But I can't still invalidate the fact that they took the extra time to make this figure look its very best. So again, I understand the novelty and why this is considered a deluxe figure. But where I do disagree with Jazwares is on the $20 price tag. I understand that this is a deluxe figure, limited release, that all that kind of novelty and all that jazz, but it's just $20 for a World of Halo figure is crazy. And because this is an online exclusive, there's the shipping and all that, and this figure actually comes around to $30. So for basically a really good looking World of Halo figure for $30 is a little insane to me. I understand, again, novelty, deluxe, all that stuff, but I wish they just threw in a few more accessories like a bolt shot or some other Promethean weapons. It would have been a nice little, you know, touch to really validate the price that they are selling this figure for. But that's really about it when it comes to me disagreeing on Jazwares releasing this figure. Otherwise, again, I get why it's a deluxe figure, completely okay with that. And yeah, I want to hear what y'all think about this being a deluxe figure and it being the price that it is. Do you disagree with it? Do you agree with it? And are you kind of mixed like I am on this? But now actually focusing on the positives and the negatives of this figure, starting off with the sour stuff first, just to get it out of the way. And starting off with two things that I've already said. The first one being the price tag of that being $20. I wish this figure was just a little bit cheaper. And the second thing being the lack of accessories, especially for the price that this figure is. I wish it just came with a few more accessories. And then getting into things that I haven't talked about yet, starting off with the torso articulation, or the lack of there being. I pray that one day we finally get to articulate the torso of a Halo figure, whether it is the World of Halo or the Spartan Collection. I just pray that some figure made by Jazwares can have some kind of articulated torso, but unfortunately with this figure that is not the case, and I don't know when that will be the case. And after that, the last thing that comes to mind is I just wish they chose a different shade of green for his armor. It just is really too bright for Halo 4 Chief, and I just wish they went with the same shade of green that they chose with Halo 5 Chief. I feel like that would have made this figure look absolutely phenomenal. And then moving over to the more positive side of things, starting off with the visual presentation, because this is a limited exclusive. Jazwares went out of their way to put in some extra care and love into the visual presentation, and it is clearly seen here. I love the amount of detail they put into this figure, and it is simply one of the best looking World of Halo figures we've seen to date. And even though this factor might be because this is a deluxe figure, I really enjoyed the fact they brought back the stand. With the earlier waves of the Spartan collection, that was one thing I appreciated, so we could always display our figures. Now they only really do it for the alien figures that, you know, might not be able to stand on their own, but still, I really enjoy the fact that they gave us a stand with this figure. And that's really all I have to say when it comes to the positives, unfortunately. It really does seem like that the negatives do outweigh the positives here, but I do promise you, if you are willing to shill the money that they are charging for this figure, there is a lot to enjoy, and it is a, you know, decent World of Halo figure that any World of Halo fan would enjoy. Again, I just don't think it's worth the price that they're charging for said figure. So at the end of the day, do I believe that this is a deluxe figure? Yes. Do I believe it's worth $20 plus the shipping and all that, making it almost $30? No. Do I think that this is a good World of Halo figure? Yes. Do I think it should have came with more? Also, yes. And I do believe that this would have been a near perfect release if the price was a bit cheaper. And honestly, this release is really only made for two people: those who are trying to collect all the Master Chief figures, and those who are the hardcore Halo collectors that try to pick up every piece of Halo media. Because personally, it doesn't seem like that this figure was made with the casual collector in mind, because of how exclusive and limited this figure is. And to be fair, the only reason I picked up this figure was because I had to see why this figure was worth $20. Yes, I could have, you know, watched someone else's review. I could have, you know, went to some article that reviewing this figure or whatever, but I had to get my hands on it and form my own opinions, and here we are. So please tell me down below, if you have this figure, what do you like, what do you dislike about this figure? Do you think it's worth the $20? Do you think it's considered a deluxe figure? I want to hear everything you have to say about this figure, and I will most likely reply to y'all's comments because I love talking about this stuff. And if you did enjoy today's video, a like and subscription would be phenomenal. And don't worry about the bell, we both know that shit is broken. And if you want to see more content like this, there's plenty of it up on the channel. I have reviewed a plethora of Halo stuff, but I also do other stuff in the Star Wars franchise, Alien versus Predator, or Alien/Predator, whatever you want to consider it. I dabble in all that stuff as well, so if any of that does interest you, you're more than welcome to go check that out. And with all that said, please have an amazing day and stay hydrated. It's important.